Hey guys, Julian here from synthwavepro.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. So today we're going to take a closer look at reverbs and deep dive into how we can add depth, interest, and excitement to our mix. Let's get started. All right, so let's play our song in context, get an understanding as to how we can create depth for this song. So let's get started. All right, pretty straightforward, nice little synthwave vibe here, but I want to bring your attention to the space. So pay attention to the reverb. The drums basically give away the sense of reverb, the sense of space. So let me go ahead and mute all the other instruments and just leave our drums active and pay attention to the reverb here. Nice sort of room. This is what we have going on. Return channel number 1, reverb 1. All right, so our drums are within its own sort of space. The decay time for this particular reverb is coming in at about 1 second. Obviously, it's 100% wet as it's a return channel. And so that offers a nice sort of space that we can place our drums within. So what I've gone ahead and done in order to create yet more space, if you will, or a sort of back room within the room, is by adding another reverb. So let's turn our attention to reverb number 2. This guy over here, reverb number 2. The decay time here is set to 2.5 seconds. Obviously this is wet, but 2.5 seconds is fairly long. Now, because we're clocking in at a BPM of about 84, 85 beats per minute, I've gone ahead and I've extended this. If this were house music or something a little more up-tempo, say 127, 128 beats per minute, I would probably lower that, obviously. But for synthwave and, having us create that sort of euphoric, ethereal space, let's go ahead and see what this sounds like. All right, so again, just the drums on their own. That's reverb number 1. And now reverb number 2. Here it is. Now, let me play it in context. Now let's A/B this. Small room. Now a bigger room. All right, so if you had trouble hearing that, let's go ahead and isolate our drums only. And let's replay this with our long room and without. Okay, so this is with the short room, if you will. And now long. Without. And with. All right, so very cool. However, there are a number of things that we can do, little tweaks that I want to show you guys so that when you are creating these rather static synthwave drum beats, and that's part of the genre, right? Everything's on 2 and 4. The kick's usually on 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on the floor, as it's known as. So one way to create some excitement is to simply automate what's going on with this second reverb. So what I have here are 2 utilities. Let's pay attention to this first one here. I've labeled it width. And what we are doing is essentially collapsing it to a mono channel, and then we are stereoizing it, if you will. So let's go ahead and let me play this. I'm about to solo this so we can hear what's going on. Okay. So what's going on here is that we are toggling between the mono channel, if you will, and then we are completely disabling it, therefore making it stereo, right? So without it, it sounds like this. And with, so stereo, mono, stereo, mono, stereo, mono. All right, so this little trick here is adding a little bit of ear candy for our listener. In other words, we are collapsing that channel to a mono channel, and then we are stereoizing it. And we're doing that on 2 and 4. Okay, so this is beat 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. So when that snare hits, it sounds slightly different every time it strikes. Like most tips that are featured on this channel, a little goes a long way. And as Synthwave producers, it's our job to keep the listener engaged. So if you are going to drop this technique, just make sure not to overdo it. As a side note, don't be afraid of experimenting with different reverb decay times, pre-delay times, and diffusion amounts. Another trick I like to use is the gate. I had done a tutorial on this, but we are going to revisit this little trick here. And so I'm going to activate this gate here. This is what the automation looks like. And let's play it in context. All right, so reverb and then dry. Reverb, 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 no reverb, okay? But don't forget, we have this first reverb here, reverb 1 playing throughout. So we're just toggling back and forth, again, adding a little bit of ear candy. So let's go ahead and play what this sounds like with the first reverb, and we'll focus our attention on the second reverb here. This is with the gate plugin active. And without. Right, all of those hits sound identical, slightly boring. And with the gate. Cool. Another thing we can do here is change up the levels between reverb number 1 and reverb number 2. So what I'm going to do here is lower the volume of reverb number 1, which is our room reverb, if you will, and leave reverb number 2 where it is, or perhaps even bump it up a notch, okay? And we'll see what that does to the actual space. Okay, now let me bump up reverb number 2. Probably disable the gate plugin here. There we go. So we've actually changed the sort of dimensions of our room here just by lowering the volume of the room reverb and increasing the volume of the larger room, if you will. So let's go ahead and play this in context. This is nice little tricks that I like to use during the production phase here. And, you know, again, offers a little more ear candy to the listener. So what I'm going to do here is toggle a few of these plugins on and off and see how that affects our sound. All right, so let's play this again. With the gate. Without the width adjustment. All right, really simple stuff here, things that most of us can use regardless of the DAW we are using, whether you're on Reason or on Cubase. Nice little tricks to give our drums a little more movement and create some depth in our mix. That is it for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful, and thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.